Dad and I like to joke about how it's really fortunate that I had a music career to fall back on, because college just wasn't working out for me. And I tried a couple different places, 3 or 4 different colleges. But back in 1998, there was this little band out of Texas that was working on a record that they were going to put out on Sony Records, and we got a song to them through a guy named Lloyd Baines, who was a fabulous musician and producer and all-around nice guy. And he happened to be Natalie Baines' dad. Natalie Baines had just started singing with the Dixie Chicks, and they were looking for songs for their record. And I was singing in a band called the Groovies, and we were having, yay! Okay, but honestly, that's why we broke up, because we only had one fan.
I never knew, Ray.
Yeah, if you only have one fan, that fan has to be extremely dedicated. Anyway, you know, when Scott Malott, the other writer in the band, in the Groovies, we were sitting around dreaming big, you know, and he said, gosh, Susan, that band, they could sell maybe 50,000 copies of a record, you know? And we couldn't picture that. We couldn't imagine that, you know? And I think right now they're at somewhere around 14 million copies of this record. Which is what allows me to dress in the fabulous manner that you see right now. So I'm really lucky, and I always wish this for any of my songwriting friends. It doesn't have to be a band like the Dixie Chicks that sell millions of copies for it to feel great when someone takes one of your songs and says, you know what, I want to sing that. I like that, I want to sing that. But I was very fortunate that they did, and they did so well, and I'm so proud to be attached to that, you know, and get to have this little flag to wave. Dream and a life of their own. A place in the clouds, a foundation of stone. Many precede and many will follow. A young girl's dream no longer hollow. It takes the shape of a place out west. What it holds for her, she hasn't yet. She needs wide open spaces, room to make her big mistakes. She needs new faces. She knows the high stakes. She traveled this road as a child, wide-eyed and grinning. She never tired, but now she won't be coming back with the rest. If these are life's lessons, she'll take this test. She needs wide open spaces, room to make her big mistakes. She needs new faces. She knows the high stakes. She knows the high stakes. So not too long ago, quite a while ago, the other day, Janet gave me this CD, and it was a copy of the Dixie Chicks singing Wide Open Spaces with James Taylor. I'm a big James Taylor fan. So I called my folks, and I was like, my dad answers the phone, you know, and I'm like, Dad, guess what I'm listening to right now? And he said, what's that, Susan? And I said, I'm listening to the Dixie Chicks in Wide Open Spaces with James Taylor. There's this awkward silence on the other end of the phone, and that's when I realized that my dad doesn't know who James Taylor is. I said, Dad, I can't believe you don't know who James Taylor is. And he said, I know who James Taylor is. He's that football player. Oh, we're so proud. I hated to devastate him and be like, no, Dad, it's not James Taylor, the football player. He's like, well, I knew that, Susan, because he's been retired for years. I said, I love you, Dad. Do you have Mom call me when she gets back? Yeah, 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 yeah. As she packs her things, she feels she left something out. Her friends, her family, her dog in this house. She turns around, 9-year-old room there. Looks at the U-Haul, it has the bed in there. And as her folks drive away, her dad yells, check the oil. That's how they say they love you. Mom stares out the window, she says, I'm